This conference will now be recorded.
Don't have none of the roll call and all that on.
The terrazzo is what you see in malls and airports. You can do different stained colors. You have inclusions like glass inclusions, and it's highly polished. So really long lifespan, very tolerant, easy to maintain and clean. And so it was identified to put it in 7,500 square feet of the building, but that was some time ago over the course of construction costs going up, and we just found that we couldn't afford it. So we took it out of the initial project of flooring, so we've been phased it. However, because we got the state appropriation last November, we can now afford to do some of it. We'd hope we could do all of it, but we can do some of it. So the priority area is the south corridor here. So this is the entrance to the museum. This is where the new store is going to go. This is our lobby area, and it leads down to the auditorium. The north corridor is kind of the functional spaces, so some hallways leading into exhibitions. This is what we call our Marshall and Winston Gallery. This is where we do the artist in residence shows, if you've seen any of those there. And then a hallway here and down to our Founders Gallery, which is the original space. So unfortunately, we can't afford to do all of it. But again, we're going to choose the priority areas. So that would be the south corridor. And then what's concrete in these areas. So because it was an add-on building over decades, some of the flooring substrate is wood underneath and some of it's concrete. The easier locations to apply the terrazzo is going to be where it's concrete, again, south corridor, and then this area. So it's Marshall Gallery in front of the courtyard entrance, in front of the Aston collection, in front of the existing museum store, which will eventually be a family gallery, and then we would cut it off right here. So it would be here and here. And so the rest would remain carpet. But again, that underneath is the joists and the particle board flooring. It was going to be too costly to reinforce all of that and then also do the terrazzo on top of it. So we're just going to have to phase it in later when we have funds, and we're going to fold it into other projects. So for instance, eventually we're going to need to upgrade our Goddard exhibition area because it's just antiquated. It's from the 1960s and 50s. And so we just want to eventually put that on the list to update. So we would just fold doing this part at that time. We eventually need to add on another storage vault, update our prep room, which is where we prep for exhibitions, do our framing and matting. So we eventually need to add another storage vault and deal with this area. And when we do that, I want to reopen the old stage. So there's a 1930s era stage that's currently covered over. So at that point, we would address these flooring areas. So I want to be done with our flooring projects because, you know, the city's given us money, the state's given us money towards it. I just want to close it out, knowing that there's still some areas to do, but I'll fold those into other projects in the future. So we're at this point, we're finalizing getting the quotes for the flooring, for the terrazzo. And so we'll present that to Finance Committee on February 1st, and then hopefully City Council in the February meeting. And next slide. And so this isn't flooring so much, but the flooring is laying the foundation for the final part of the spending of the appropriation monies that we have. And that is moving the store from the back of the museum to the front and then renovating the lobby. These are conceptual drawings that go back to 2019. So it's been something I've been working on for quite a while. It's just with the pandemic, we didn't have the funding to do it. And now with these state appropriations and moving forward on the terrazzo flooring, it's all kind of falling into place. So we're keeping fairly consistent to these original drawings, but some things are not going to be specifically this. So for instance, what the architect is laying out right now is the layout of the spaces, but any of these furnishings, those are things that we'll choose and add on outside of the going to bid with the contractor and doing the structural work. So it won't necessarily be like this contemporary white laminate furniture. It could be something else that's more fitting into the aesthetic that we're looking for. But that being said, moving the front desk back from over here to over here, and then moving the store from the back of the museum to over here. And if we go to the next slide.
Well, that's better too, because the front desk is walking up, you can know when to expect.
Yeah, it's the layout's going to be much better. And then this is an interior of the store. Again, this is the concept drawing, so it's not exactly going to look like this, but the idea of enclosing it with the glass, having it wrap around the corner. And then something else I'll point out too, here you can see through to the lobby. There's the interior part of the vestibule that we have will be moved to the outside of the building. So it'll open up the lobby and give a lot more space when people come in. So it will feel more like a lobby that people can congregate, socialize. We're also talking about getting like there was talk about doing a coffee station. It might just be more of like a beverage area where we can get to put some waters in a cooler and people can purchase those and just sit and relax before they go and visit the museum. But so this is coming up right around the corner. So after the terrazzo gets poured, then the building of this would commence. So we split it into two things. So it's the epoxy terrazzo is what we're going to Finance Committee for February 1st. And then we'll be going to bid on the rest of this construction during the month of February. And we'll see how it comes together. But the hope is then to bring it to Finance in March. And then I'll stand for any questions.
Councilors have any questions?
No, I just think it looks great.
Does the public,
Very exciting.
public have any questions?
Thank you, Angela. I'm Rita Kane Dorhofer, very narrow on Strike County resident, Mark Road. Are you doing anything with the second floor?
So the only thing up there is my office right now.
Well, there was other things when you walked up the stairway. There was a glass window at one time, and you had some exhibits, or there were exhibits in there.
So there's a very small portion of the building has a second floor, and what you're referring to is the natural history exhibit. So under Title III, so federal funding that was received in the late 60s, early 70s, it supported expanding the programs and working with the school district. And so there were live animal exhibits. So there were, I don't know if they're live birds or taxidermy, but there was snakes and tarantulas, and they actually had a taxidermy program there at the museum. So that was, again, functioning where they partnered directly with the school district to do that. So the Title III funding ran out like around, I think, 1972 or so. And so after that, they eventually took down those exhibits. And so they became office spaces.
When's the last time you've been up there?
When was the last time, when I had to walk up the stairs on the outside, the fire escape stairs
Oh,
to get to the office?
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You said like 97, you haven't been there for.
Excuse me.
But I will say for a long time, the membership coordinator position was upstairs. So people that were renewing their memberships would oftentimes come upstairs.
Yeah.
Behind being, it's kind of quiet. Come visit.
Any more questions? Anybody else? Thank you, Ms. King.
Okay.
Now we're to the part of reports and announcements. Is there anything from Roswell Transit? You don't have to if you don't want to, but there's. We just had the museum. You have anything else on you?
Renovation. We just had that opening recently, and then I'll just mention March 1st, we're doing a members open house. This is the second year that we've done that. And it's for our membership, but the membership can also bring guests, and anyone that comes in can attend the event, and they would become a member in order to enter the event. But it's gonna be a presentation, so by myself and staff kind of going over the renovations and other upcoming programs we have. We'll also be highlighting some new classes that will be coming up, and so we'll have teachers that will be talking about what's involved in the classes. There'll be tours. We're going to do a collections demonstration, have some refreshments. So that, again, that's March 1st. So I encourage all of you to come for that. And counselors, if there's any of you who haven't been to the museum or would like to be behind a museum tour, behind the scenes tour, just let me know. I'm happy to do that.
How'd the market go for Christmas?
The Holiday Artisan Market. So this is the third year that we've done it. We brought in a total of $31,000.
Wow.
And that's a majority of that goes back to the artists.
Yeah.
So it's considered a fundraiser and an event. We had 31 artists participate, and I'm trying to remember, it might be in my report, but I think there was like around 25,000 that went back to the artists based on the sale. So 70% is kept by the artists, 30% comes back to our foundation to support programming. So I think it's a really good event. We're looking to expand the opening night event and get the foundation more involved in planning that, because we do a really great job with those opening nights.
Questions for her? All right, the library, Ms. Emmett?
We received a grant from the New Mexico Library Foundation for our STEM, that was $3,500. The check for the state aid has come in, and we have to spend that by April. And we're using that for our nature backpacks, in our partnering with Bitter Lakes, to provide free passes to that park. And the rest of it is going to be about $9,000. It's going to be trying to visualize these directories as much as we can. Our Roswell room is coming into place and we're getting the heat taken care of and the roof is being, going through its maintenance right now.
Very good.
That's what I was gonna ask you about the roof.
New leaks.
There had some rain yesterday. Did you get any leaks?
No, they did fix it. They did fix it right before. We had one leak in our staff lounge and which took down some panels. But we put towels on the floor, so there wasn't any damage, but they came and looked at that and they did a lot of work on that side. And so when it rained, it didn't come into the building.
It's great news.
Which is good for us.
Right. Whatever happened with the mobile library thing?
Okay, so it's still in our strategic plan, but because we have to hire someone to, in order to implement that, to make it, to be a branch of a public library, which a mobile library can be, you have to have it on the road and give it, be providing services for 20 hours per week. So that's one part-time person, plus you really don't want to have someone out there by themselves, so you need another person to be a library aide or someone just to help out with that. But because there is some concern about keeping that position, having that position, maintaining that position for the amount that we have, I don't want to buy something and then just have a van out there and not be able to take it out to people. But to maintain it, we have to have it, and to get state aid that would pay for the gas and the insurance and that sort of thing, we have to have it out on the road for 20 hours per week. So we have put that on the back burner. We are going through another phase of strategic planning. And my recommendation as part of that strategic plan is that we focus on creating that outdoor learning area and push the mobile service area back a little bit. So, but our library board is going to be looking at the strategic plans. We have to submit the strategic plan to the state before July 1st of this year. So you will be looking at the strategic plan before it goes to the state.
Did the house ever sell the money that was gonna give?
Yes, it did sell. I talked to finance and we have put that money in a separate fund so that we're getting some interest out of it. We have it both as a long-term and a money market account. And that has been earmarked for it. So if we do use all that money from the sale of the house and from the former business money, we will have 2/3 of the cost of the play and learn area paid for. That leaves the selling of the bricks to pay for the other 1/3 of it. And then I hope to be asking, I'll be meeting with the foundation to see if they would be willing to put some architectural designs for us, pay for that part of that. So it is a doable project to do that. But we have to give up the bookmobile in order to do the outdoor play and learn.
Anybody else have any questions for her? Is anybody here from the cemetery department?
Why, yes. Matter of fact, John, I'm gonna sit here so with all of them, but you have the numbers for the cemetery, how many people we've interred, and caskets, cremations, veterans, and so on. And right now it's kind of a maintenance thing. Besides, obviously, the burial is gonna stop. But we have to deal with the weather things, the trees, limbs, pipes freezing or blowing up, irrigation. So you see that in the report. We've been taking care of all of that. Help Breeze Across America is cool, and order trees, saplings, Fargo. So they work with the state to get the tree saplings giveaway. So that's also done by Ruben, acting arborist for us. So you can see we bury people and fix irrigation, some damage to the fence someone caused. Moving forward, we're working on irrigation system. We put in a new well, remember correctly, last year. Now we gotta put in something to actually pump the water. So Lorenzo was nice enough to just do some numbers on some of the things, some of the wells he needed here in town. So I can piggyback some of his numbers and come forward with that. So like get that going. We had to put in electrical service, put in a pump, a building, so on. And then put some pipe, but we gotta keep after it. There are some funds there for pipe, but maybe we can reword some of that to get it into an actual pump. So we get the water out. So that's that one. The columbariums, we'll get back to that probably next month is kind of scaled it down and all the drawings are done and we'll have to work with our purchasing department to go out to bid for that one. So it's been resized and instead of a CES project, we're going to go out to bid on that. Okay.
Why was it scaled down after we?
Just at the end of the year and it was about $1.5 million project. And trying to fix some issues here and there, and we just scaled it down. There's some other, instead of building something new, the monies, I believe, were earmarked to fix things we already owned, which is no consideration. So I think I don't know, things kind of moved around a little bit and it'll move fast enough. The columbariums themselves will pay for themselves as we go. So we'll start off here and then it says, it's like a loan. We'll start off here and then like other places, columbarium plazas, they get taller. So we'll just use that type of a design. And as these sell, we'll look at those funds and we'll, there's another one, kind of like the veterans. Off we go and we'll branch out a little at a time. That's a plan for those. Okay, so that's, anybody have any questions on the cemetery?
Getting watered? Is everything getting watered?
Yeah, unless it's broke, yeah. We're repairing pipes right now, but no, it's getting watered. We cut back in the winter though. Has to do with soil temperatures, so we did put some fertilizer in different places and we'll spend a little more time with seed. Looking at the temperatures, there's a lot of places that are open. We can put Bermuda in there where the sun shines, okay? And then next up, unless anybody has any more questions on cemetery. Okay, next up be golf. Very proud of everybody out there and the cemetery staff. I get great people I work with. The golf course has really been kicking it. I'm proud of them. We're trying new things constantly and we're going to continue to do that. Looking at different ways or different niches that no one else is providing a service. So you see in the documents that we're doing more tournaments, getting more people out there, which is fun. We want to introduce as many people to that sport as possible. Staff understands what customer service is, very kind. We are at this moment buying more merchandise to put in the pro shop. Remember, we're going slow, so we're kind of testing things. So we'll be expanding that. Construction wise, we fixed the outside restroom right there next to the building. It needed love. We've also replaced or repaired, we didn't replace, we repaired the roof. And then we get a few leaks we're taking care of right now. So we're gonna do that. Fix some of the irrigation. This is irrigation time. Cut trees, trim trees, break up leaves, infrastructure items that we can't do when we're just constantly mowing. So you see some of those things on there that we have fixed, but very, very proud of everybody in that whole organization out there that come together, they're working as a team and off we go. So it's kind of cool. Any questions on that? And we've done very good revenue wise in the first, we're doing the calendar year out there. So, you know, if you look at the calendar, we're close to 900 and some thousand, 950,000, something like that.
How's GPS working on the new car?
Good. It took a minute to get them programmed.
So you know where the,
Yeah.
so we don't have any more
Yeah, they-
accidents
the
out there.
satellites didn't know where the cars were. They made them, they installed it, and they put the stuff on a truck, and they brought them to us, and it's like, okay, where are they? And we had to get them going slowly, because we don't, you know, so that's, they've been programmed. And that's a good thing. And we're very, very happy with those. And so are the customers. We're happy, obviously, because new, and there's not as much maintenance.
Are there monitor? Little,
There's actually a little screen. So it'll tell you how far you are from the pin. If you go out of bounds with it, where you're not supposed to be, it shuts it off, you know, for so many seconds, you push it back. If you keep doing it, it's just going to shut it off, period. And come and talk to you, and we'll turn it back on. You can't, nothing can get tore up, or you can't steal it,
can't wreck it.
can't wreck it. The next step, we're working on beverage carts. So we're working on, okay, I can order some soda or chips or something from the cart. I'm headed to this, you know, or have places that I'm going to service this spot and this spot, wherever the holes are. So when you get over here, let me know, we'll meet you here. And so by doing that, you would order your food. So if I have someone cooking hot dogs or something, you order your food from the pro shop. So that's where all my requirements would be, temperature wise, everything for whatever I'm doing, but then it gets wrapped and taken to you. So it'd be like a, what he's delivered, yeah, DoorDash thing. But so that's what I'm doing next, and we really haven't shared too much on that. But
Madam Chair, if I could, I've received several texts and phone calls from different people all over the city, not associated with each other, and they've been bragging on our golf course. The greens are in shape. The next thing we need to look at our cart paths, some replacement equipment that leveling mower we'll look at next year's budget. But super proud of the team out there. They've done a lot of work. Matthews and I with them. To us. Yeah, no, in golf. I'm not a very big golf. But I will say this, the community is thrilled, and that's the best golf course in town.
well, they just keep taking care of business. I mean, we haven't stopped, and they haven't stopped, and they're pumped up, and they actually care for everyone. We're gonna do more tournaments. There's a big, I don't know, call that a pavilion or something, a shade cover deal? We're gonna maybe put some wire in there so the bugs can't get in and use it for some more things. So it's already there. So we'll just clean it up a little bit, and it's got like picnic tables and gravel in it. So, you know, we'll give it some love, and it'll be another place that we could get together. We're doing more night golf, which is, I thought really, but it's working. So, yes, it's a little different, but if we can tie that into some of the recreation things that we can do at night. So we're going to try to start putting some of these pieces together. We haven't figured it out totally, but obviously in the desert, we like to do things when it's cooler, and we'll get that one figured out too. That's the golf course. You got any questions on that one? Okay. Parks Department, you know, these guys always doing, yeah, I don't know, it's hard to keep track of everything they do, but same thing, maintenance. But when we do maintenance, you see the tractors in there getting all the pine needles and leveling things out, going in there by hand and getting rid of weeds and fixing fences. And well, the same thing, we've been trying to spend some time on the trails. So they have the below grades, and there's a lot of, you see the winds, you see all the tumbleweeds and all that. We get to keep those, boom, right down there. So we got a lot of stuff we got to clean up. So we clean up the trash, tumbleweeds, tree limbs. Whenever the wind blows, the guys are out there helping the streets pick up tree limbs. And then we just put together a tree crew. So they're going through all our parks and city buildings, but you can see some of the pictures on the next page, what the guys do. So when you say, well, they're trimming some trees, well, it's a kind of a bigger than that. You know, it sounds pretty simple sitting here, but it's a huge thing we do. We took some more pressure fines to the zoo. The parking lot was getting pretty beat up over there where the employees are at. We're taking more of the tailings out to different properties so we can fix the cart paths, that big black pile there, that went to the cart paths. out there. And then we'll also put some crusher fines in with that because they'll pack better. You put the crusher fines down, get wet, and then they just kind of fall apart. So we're working on that with the golf course. We changed how we do the graffiti. You see on page 18, the guy there with the little hose, the blue tank. The blue tank has a soda blast in it. And he's taking the graffiti off that light post there, and then he's working on the sidewalk. So the reason for that is not as much equipment, and I have more people cross-trained. So this works, and then we'll probably put 3 or 4 of these out in the service. So as the crews go out, they'll actually have that capability with them. Right now, we only have so many trucks that have generators and compressors on them. So we have 2 trucks that can do that now. But at least that doubles our ability instead of just 1. So that's what they're doing there. They're training on how to do it. And the soda for a soda blaster is about 60 to 80 grit. What would you be, sandpaper? You put that under 120 pounds of air pressure through a little nozzle, you can tear things up. So we're actually teaching everybody. And then we go to page 19. That's a happy thing. That's Carpenter Park down there where they put the splash pad. And when this was a test, there's a tiny, they let the weeds grow up in it, but now we're tearing it down. There's a little square block there. That was a flower bed. We want to see how that would work. So, of course, the wife, and she likes to plant flowers. So off we went, and we planted some stuff in there, and the neighbors loved it. They walked down the street and watered it with their watering cans, and they had like the sunflower things growing, and they gave them something to do. They love the flowers. So we probably pretty much quadrupled the size, went higher, and actually put a real liner in there and soil. And I gave the guys about 50 bulbs one day to go plant in different parks. And so we're gonna put flowers back in there and different types of plants and show everybody how to raise butterflies and moths, whatever the wife wants to do, and we'll go teach. So we're gonna use that to teach with. We'll ask the neighbors what they like, and we'll take care of that, and we're just gonna have fun. Something bright and pretty that's gonna come up, and it's something different we haven't done. So that's what's going on there. So the parks guys are also helping at the zoo. We also have parks crews there with the zoo people. So there's a lot of work going on there with the trees, and the streets department was nice enough. If you've been out there, there's a lot of asphalt. Streets department came out there and they actually helped us crack seal everything. So that's what those black lines are. That's tar. And that's kind of a thing to heat up that tar and get it down in there. And we use it as a training opportunity with some of the new streets employees. That thing's huge and it's very heavy, and it's like a big iron. It heats that tar and puts down a crack. Well, if you pick it up, it makes a mess. So they did a really great job. You can see that we're working on the railroad tracks there. We've got some more rail coming in. We're replacing ties. We've redone the bridge, and there's just some repairs we're doing to get back into the swing of things out there. So the parks guys are out there helping too. And we're just making a list of what everything needs to be done, and off we go. So if we have any spare crews, that's where they're headed.
Since we stopped charging it, how's it been?
Good. I mean, we're off season right now.
Yeah.
And, it's going to take a minute to say, oh, by the way, it's free, but our goal is to make sure it's pleasant and happy. And the families are going out there and we're having picnics, we used to have picnics and stuff, and we have fun. We have kids out there. We're going to play some baseball and softball.
And not to cut you off, Mr. Burris,
Yep.
I've been driving by there periodically. And so just observationally, we don't have gate receipts collectors manning the gates anymore. So we're not keeping count that way.
Oh, okay.
But observationally, I'm seeing a lot more cars in the parking lot. I'll give you an example. Last week I drove by, there were 12 cars in the parking lot. Prior to that, I was seeing 2,
If you're lucky.
3. Yeah, and that's anecdotal, but we are seeing an uptick.
Is the fence down completely? The fence is completely
In the
down?
lake?
And what's going on with the water? I mean, with the, like,
Drag them up, Jim. They've been doing a lot of work.
We just go do our job, but you saw we knocked all the weeds down. We fixed the ruts that were in there. We're actually working on the well right now, putting the parts in. We're going to weld some stuff. We're going to, like you blow air in it, brings the water up. We're going to make sure everything works. And we're gonna start to fill the pond and make sure it fills,
Like when?
like now.
Start filling the pond now?
As soon as I can.
Madam Chair, we're aiming for the spring. I've
Okay,
asked
that's what I mean.
Chris and his crew.
Start to warm up?
Yeah, when we start to warm up. So they've done, I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
A little bit of your summer.
Go ahead, go for it.
Brag on you. So they've redone the train tracks that we were told could not be redone. With train tracks at work, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Itema and I went out and rode in the train like a bunch of little kids about a week ago. And
They did.
smiled here. And those train tracks are the right size. They do work. They put a carburetor kit in the train and replaced some spark plugs and got that running. It could probably use a wax job, even more so it could use a paint job, but that's further on down the road. Let's get it working. They have done, all those sprinkler heads that were capped and the dead spots all over, they replaced those with sprinkler heads. They've got the irrigation system running right. You may have read a couple of articles by Ms. Harbor in the last couple of months where the parks team has gone out there and cleared several years of debris around the pond and overgrowth, and they're keeping that mowed. We do have relatively new, several months in now, maintenance supervisor over there that we stole from the county. His name is Randy Perez. And he is another one of these anonymous rock stars, kind of like our parks department. These are the guys that you don't know, you don't hear them. They're not out there screaming. They just get things done. And they have really done a lot of work out there.
Good, good, man. Good to hear.
You're gonna see brightly colored picnic tables Friday. They're going out there, new grills. So you've been in the shade covers over there. You know, some of the tables were gone or the grills are rusty and they're getting replaced Friday.
Our big question mark is that pond and the well.
Yeah.
So we should know a status on the well probably in another week.
Yeah, week, something like that. We're gonna,
Test the well, you haven't tested the well yet?
we've tested the well. We're putting a new variable speed pump, replacing all the stuff because it's quite that deep, but it's good water. And we're putting variable speed pumps in. That's what was all messed up. And so we're replacing all that and variable speed because you have two irrigation systems in the pond. So you run the pump differently or you burn it up. So right now we're just going to do the pond. So we might do some different wiring just to get it going because I want to make sure the pipe still works. And I've already talked to the state. We'll test the water with them. Everything's cool. We'll work on stocking the pond.
Yeah, that's next. We're shooting for the spring to try and get that pond restocked by Game and Fish. Now that there are no fees on it, Game and Fish will come and stock that for free. Jim and his crew are putting trees out there to beautify it again, to get some shade out there again, planting some more grass seed. The grass and haven't been irrigated and fertilizing that right now with our vegetables.
Can't wait to see it up and on the park.
They're planting trees probably Friday.
Well, if I had a bunch
Love
of
that.
water, right? And all that.
That little pond.
They didn't, nothing got water at all. So it all died.
I can't wait to see that little pond with the water coming out.
The kids
I'm excited.
That's how it was when I was.
Yeah, when I was little.
Yeah.
We should have a big celebration out there.
When you do that, when you get it right. Once you-
Celebration, because I can't wait to do it.
Mike and I are of the same mind on this.
I think we should have some community event out there once that gets going.
We found the old peppermint, or a picture of the old
Peppermint Park.
You need to get
Oh, I
those,
love that.
that carousel, those things I told you about, those pictures. Get you framed.
And they're in my conference room in my office.
Oh, you took them and saved them?
Yeah. I actually missed them.
There's a carousel that's out there. How old is it?
I don't know.
1971 is when it was done.
We went and toured it. I'm like, it's just gonna be ruined. The weather, the art on it.
It really hasn't had any maintenance to speak.
Oh, I know, you can't fix it. It's used as a carousel.
Cold,
I rode on it as a child too.
If we had, what we're aiming for is let's get trained, let's get the grounds.
Yeah.
And that was step one, they've done that. Let's get the fence down. Let's get the train and the train tracks. Let's get the well and the pond and the fish. Next fiscal year's budget, let's dedicate funds to the carousel. Let's get that right.
Right.
Yes, it does turn and yes, it does operate. It looks,
It look not safe.
it's
Don't look
rough. It's way too fast.
That's
And we've
I
got,
think that would be Osborne.
Makes it exciting.
I know.
Hang on.
Right.
It's adrenaline. No, and I haven't. told you, we've got the next quotes. There's a company coming out. That's what they do. They repair carousels. So we'll have a couple of data points. We had one company out. Another one's on their way. Created a bill last week. That was forwarded to them yesterday. They'll do their scheduling. They'll come out and they'll go through the whole thing head to toe. And then this is what you need to, instead of just, throwing parts at something and you don't end up wasting money. We're going to have a plan and this is how we need to fix it and what's important, safety issues and so we'll have real information for you guys going into budget cycle.
they've worked really hard and have done an outstanding job. They ought to be celebrated. I'll try and bring it to the next council meeting. If we do 2 hours, I'm definitely going to chance to but they really.
Just on the other guy, do you have a new zoo person after you got rid, after the other guy?
Well, Amy that worked out there, she's running it right now along with Aaron. So that they've been there forever, extremely experienced. We're hiring new zookeepers. So we've got one out there now. The one young lady still works for us. But yeah, there's another one coming in from Albuquerque, I believe, this week. I think she starts Friday, whatever, new pay cycle.
The good news is we were up to $1.4 million to operate that. Part of that was coming out of gross receipts, which we know the.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Receipts.
Did a hoot.
Check with Janie, the county department today. We're at $500,000. Yeah. It's
a lot less.
And here today, I think we're about 300,000. So not only have we made the improvements that we were told could not be done, but we're going to do it cheap and tax as opposed to gross receipts.
Yeah, it's called hard work. I forgot, Mike reminded me. We, with the new zoo staff, right, what new, old, whatever, Amy's running it, and Aaron. We had a USDA inspection the other day and remember there was a lot of maybe concern about birds and this and that, all this other stuff. We had 0 findings on that audit.
Those previous inspections hadn't gone so well.
Yeah, that's when we'd already talked to USDA. Amy called them. Got to give credit where it's due. She calls, hey, and she talked to them, say, I may need your help, or we may need to talk to the biopark. And so they're working as a team instead of, because I would prefer that USDA comes out and say, Jim, we need to fix that. Okay, I go fix it versus surprise. So we're all communicating and Amy's doing a great job and the staff out there with 0 findings. And that's huge. That is huge.
Are the animals back?
We went and got the owl and one of the hawks. The owl was on the Gordo. Odo was, I don't
We didn't get our little piggies or a little,
There are a lot of sheep.
something that was.
know. To the pygmy goats and sheep, pygmy goats and sheep, we haven't restocked yet. Yeah, but there's kids in town, it's like,
I gave Pirtle something. What did y'all give Pirtle?
That was a very long list. The former zoo director had given away many animals.
Bunch of animals. Yeah, I was like-
So that's those, once the administration discovers that's in statute, these types of potential frauds, we are required to report it to the state auditor's office. That has occurred.
Okay, thank you.
take care of business.
I got a couple of questions. I do have a couple of questions. Once we get this pond going, stocked and everything, are we looking in the future of having a fishing derby there like we had back in the old days?
Back in the day,
Yeah.
we talked to the state and we work in conjunction with them. And really, it's kind of like the state doing it. They were out there teaching the kids and they brought the prizes.
Right.
So yes, we talked to them about that.
And what about the gates being opened on that side? Will those ever be opened again or?
I would like to open those gates on that side. Right now, we're just gonna get geared up again. I gotta get it going. I wanna make sure it's safe for everybody. Fill the water all the way, see what the bank does, make sure nothing's moving and I don't get stuck in the mud, things like that. And, but we just don't have to supervise all the time. It'd be wonderful to open those gates.
Councilman Berho, to get a little more specific on that question. I've asked the same question, thought the same thoughts. I'd like to see those gates. That's a historic Spring River Trail, and that's where the trail terminates. It ought to be a beautiful park for this community that we celebrate. In order to do that, and with the regs, we do need to fence off that back side away from the animals, so that there's not instantaneous access
Right.
to those critters as you come in through there. Again, we get in a new fiscal year, new budget cycle. That'll be.
Put the gate.
implementing process.
So we have all that fences down from the park side?
Why, yes, we do, matter. of fact. And we didn't just, we still have it, so, but, you know, it has to be so tall and it has to have.
Yeah.
So the exterior gate has to be, the fence has to be the same there.
Well, the world we live in now, you need that. So,
Yeah, it's always been kind of a USDA regulation. We'll get there.
One other thing is also, I know this is, I want to say the second or third year, they hadn't had that Christmas train out there. That was, I know that wasn't through the city or nothing like that. Is there plans on bringing that back? I'm getting a lot of people always wanting it back, but I know it was outside sources.
He chose to leave. He didn't move.
Yeah, he chose to leave.
He chose to leave. He didn't do it. He was gonna do it after, he said he was gonna do it at the fairground. That's what he said.
At the fairgrounds the year before.
That's what he said when he left the city. He was gonna start doing it over there.
Just a little bit on that. So my understanding is that was a private vendor, used to be a council member, but a private vendor. They took that out to the fairgrounds. They had to tear it down, put it back up, tear it down, put it back up. They weren't making any money. They were pre-selling tickets. When the tickets were sold for a pre-sold date to come in and ride this train, and then the weather acted up, and then they had a lot of folks wanting their money back on their tickets because they couldn't do it in the weather. My understanding is that it is not working. But we don't have plans to bring that back at this time. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
That was parks, right?
Now we talked about it. Now we just need recreation.
I'm talking about, real quick, what Steve will do. Yeah, page 21. He's talking about the guys doing the work, you don't hear about it. Those little boxes right there, wooden boxes at the top when they're stained. The first two pictures.
Mhm.
Those are the boxes we built for the birds, so we meet his day requirements. There you go. And they talked about the staff, the new staff, everything that's going on there. That's some of the things that have happened that needed to be done. It's just done.
Part of those who keep that.
Yeah, that's for the, and then the aviaries in the back, put in the chicken wire. That's all been redone, and that's where the birds are at, so it seems. So, all right, and then recreation, getting a handle on this one here. They're doing great so far. Just got done with youth basketball. We're gonna have the basketball league starting February the 1st. That's going well. Whole bunch of people playing pickleball. So probably once a week, I'm in touch with the pickleball folks. And they're doing great. And today, when we went out there, I said, well, we've been doing a lot. We're buying nets and all this other stuff. And they're doing stuff at the adult center. I would like you to start doing clinics. So if we're going to do this and we're all in a group, then they're going to start teaching the youth at the rec center and the adults at the adult center. This just happened today, so it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute, but we talk about volunteers and people that have a passion with something. Well, let's go do it. And we'll just get the barriers out of the way. And that started today, and I haven't told anybody that one, but that's going to be fun too. So atmosphere is positive. Everybody's happy. Things are being taken care of. Communications is good. We're listening to the public. It was pretty cool. And this was this month. It's not December, but there was a bunch of children out there from Del Norte. And the whole center court was full of little kids. They're all happy and having fun. And they were in the classrooms there teaching them how to play chess, different things. The school district was there. But it was fun to see the whole hallway full of kids laughing. And they were being very polite. And they were taking care of business. And, it was fun. And I went there. Now that's what we're talking about. So that was nice. I didn't tell you, I've been in and out. So that happened that just happened. So we're doing that kind of stuff now. It's fantastic. And, we're just taking care of things. If it's broke, we fix it, and we ask people what they want. We just take care of it. So good people, good staff, taking care of business, anything we need to tweak, so like the golf course, you tweak it, you move on. And so that you have the dry side, right? That's the dry side, they call it. The wet side, same thing, we're taking care of business there. We did some audits, and we have some maintenance items, made a list. They actually were organized, and all the facility maintenance people are out there today, and we're gonna stay, we're gonna get caught up. People talk about curtains and all this that were bought. We already bought them, they're in a box, now they're installed. So you wanna take a shower, you can pull the curtain, and you're not standing out there in the open. People are uncomfortable, that's done. So anything that's not quite right is being taken care of. And so on that right now. And some of the
Procedures on the mechanicals, so we
Yeah.
don't have mold issues.
right, and it has to do with indoor temperature and pool water temperature and things like that. And we're going to reinstate how that worked. There's actually a computer program. If something goes out of set point, it would call the facility maintenance people. We'll put that back in. So right, so we know everything's working, and they're coming in fairly soon to actually fix all of that, make sure it all works. So that's not a surprise. If something's not turning right or temperature's not right or whatever, it'll take facility maintenance on the call and say, hey, get on out there and see what's going on, not, uh-oh. So we're just chipping away at that one too. We're doing, we've got people doing swimming lessons for youth. And I just sent pictures of these guys. The wife had knee surgery, bless her heart. And we went to the place up the road here for her therapy, but we talked. There's some of the things that haven't happened. The pool has a stairwell or a ramp. The reason that ramp's there is to work out. So there's a handle on each side, and there's like a master staircase that goes out, little tiny steps and handrails. But no one's really utilized that. So we talked to them, and we're going to buy a couple more things. We have 99.9% everything you would ever need to do aerobics and physical therapy in the pool. We're going to start doing that. We're going to back order some things. You've seen the things that we help people in a wheelchair and we go down in the water. That's cool, except they're not used all the time. So we're looking at wheelchairs that float. They're made out of PVC and special cloth. It's like a regular, it floats. So for some reason that quits working, it's not a problem. We can either go in and out that ramp with someone in a regular wheelchair that's made for water and it doesn't rust. So that was also today. We're just kind of getting geared back up for the season. So we don't always brag on what we're doing. But that's kind of the stuff that's going on.
That thing has really turned around. And, over the summer, we worked really diligently with maintenance and Parks and Recreation to get that thing open in time for the summer as the kids were. We hit the deadline. They've gone through and addressed these issues. Again, kind of like golf, that's one where I've gotten a lot of texts and phone calls from people throughout the community saying, we had no idea. It is super. I've got a friend who lost a couple of limbs a few years ago, moved back from Texas and was curious about our pool. And we got him in there and his family and membership, and he sent me an email yesterday, and he's absolutely thrilled with our facility.
Question about the janitorial service. We're not using Quest anymore, right? Do we hire people to do that? Are we still hiring people from Quest to do janitorial?
Well, it's not Quest. It's an outside janitorial company.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking at how that happens in all our facilities, all the
Yeah, it's
recreation.
not just yours, it's not city.
And we're looking at material costs and.
Cost is so much higher to hire, because you hire through a third party, it'd be easier to.
No, we're looking at individual companies, smaller companies that maybe that we can do some of these things. It's just something it's ongoing. It's kind of on the list, but it'll happen soon. We'll just make sure, we have to audit everything first, just to make sure we're not making rash decisions. So, yes, but no, it's not ITS Quest. And if you go to page 23, a couple of things. And I don't know what the word, I haven't read every single word. We're at the rec center, we're helping teach PE to homeschool children. Okay, which is cool. And then down at the bottom, that was like one of the night races we had. That needs tweaked a little bit too, but it doubled in size. These are the ones that did great. We had twice as many people this year as we had last year. So I think, no, okay. So let's run at night and we'll look at how we light everything and we'll keep growing that. We just had to make sure, there was people wanted to do that. And so I guess that's all my departments, unless anybody got any questions.
How are you staff-wise at the recreation?
Pardon me?
How are you staff-wise? Are you
Doing okay.
staff that?
Doing all right. Well, here's what we need to do is how many people we need. First you got to figure out what is it we actually need to be doing. And right now we're holding our own. And we'd like to have volunteers, but they're just not always consistent. So, what can you use a volunteer for? And, and I don't care. All right. So you look at some of the baseball leagues and stuff, or the schools, the concession stands are outside groups raising money. And it's like, have fun. So, maybe we could do that in some of our facilities, not pay a staff, but have an organization come in and say, all right, you make money for your nonprofit. So there's all kinds of things we're looking at. So we'll get there.
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Burris? Oh, yeah, Rita and I were supposed to learn the pickle rules. Remember, we were supposed to ref the pickle. She volunteered us to ref the pickleball.
I have one question. I go in and see Jim all the time, and he makes time for me. But I did not ask you today about, are you going to be using the zoo? Are you going to rent out the zoo house for parties?
Yeah, I think we'll continue that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll continue that, but it's the same thing is you make sure it's clean and safe, and do I need staff and how's the security and what's actually needed other than here, have a room.
Mhm.
So, yes.
What about the events they used to have at night? You're gonna still have those?
We'll go back to that.
Like all those things they had at night?
The symphony on Labor Day.
Yeah.
The symphony in the zoo, they had the symphony in the zoo that one time. They was
Everybody's welcome. We're just gonna try to reset. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, some of the things they have were good, so everything wasn't bad.
It was always packed.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I had to introduce, it was cool. All right, anything else? Okay, now we're down to public participation. If you have something to say, you need to give me your name and your address. Anybody from the public have something to say?
I do have something to say. My name is Julius.
Yes.
Hello. Give you over the phone.
Name and address.
Julius Smith.
Address.
310 West Road. So, I'm actually here as a civilian, not representing any agency, but I did want to discuss the state PIC counts, just because that affects the homelessness rate as well as economic development. So for those who may not be as familiar, it's the balance, the state balance sheet, the continuum of care programs that the state puts out and that the census uses to gerrymander some of their lines for like the 8A minority certifications, which SBA uses. I know y'all are familiar with SBA and some of the other labor market indicators. So it's dual purpose. So it'll help the economic development as well as homelessness because we need to get those numbers. But as far as like just making sure we have those counts, that survey is coming up January 30th through February 2nd, which is next Tuesday through Friday. I was hoping to reach out. I've reached out to Ms. Geneva. Yes, sir.
No, I was just thinking, I was counting how many days in my head.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of honest. I tried to go to my last meeting, but it was canceled and then
That's all right.
I'm reaching out to y'all. So it's short notice, but I do think that this is something that we should probably, that hopefully, maybe next time around, if we can squeeze in this time. Hope so. All the volunteers that go and get out the homelessness counts have to be trained by the coalition. But I did reach out to Ms. Geneva. I know a few people gave me her number. I guess she's sort of in charge of that in town. She has that pulse of the homelessness community. But that having those numbers also qualifies the agencies such as and the local governments to qualify for grants. So, everybody has their hand out. I don't see why it can't be, our hand too, Roswell. So I think that this would be a really good step in the right direction for Roswell, getting that in there. And I'm hoping that, in the time to come, we're kind of out of time. I did reach out to the Council of Governments as well. I think it's Dora Batista, y'all know who that is? So there's legislative session this week, so we may have phone tag with a few of y'all, but I think that's something that we should probably make a priority since that seems to be growing since the pandemic. And I'm just volunteering, I'm no official, but I'd like to be more involved, both in the economic development side and just project seeing through the homelessness.
Cool.
Thank you.
Any questions, just let me know. I'll send out my emails.
Anybody else? Are you done, Ms. Reed?
I'm done, thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you for my pledge. Right, if we don't have anything else, all heart and minds clear, as they say.
Hold on, the children. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's Mama. Hi, Mama. Yeah, that was.
Hi, y'all.
No, I'll be in Arkansas. With your daughter, right? Yeah. I signed up, but they haven't called me or anything.
So there is.
I've been talking.
I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, well, you know, I've been working with the homeless too. So
I know we were talking about the homeless. I didn't know it had to be done.
Dan